Hello and welcome to the University of Roehampton Online. My name is Pearl and I'll be your moderator for today's webinar. A warm welcome to all of our listeners today. Amazing to see listeners from all over the world, including from Nigeria, Bermuda. We have a South African living in Mongolia, so welcome to you. And we also have listeners in the Netherlands and Kenya, as well as I'm sure many other countries. So a warm welcome to you, and thank you for those of you who are staying up late or getting up early to join us today. We really appreciate it. Okay, so I'd now like to introduce you to our panelist today. Our panelist is joining us from the US, and she is a university representative. So welcome, Kristen. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Pearl. Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here. Hi, everyone.
So, Kristen, can you tell us a little bit about your role as a university representative for the Roehampton online programs?
Absolutely. I've been with the organization for about 9 years now, and as a University of Roehampton representative, it's my pleasure to conduct, of course, these webinars, but also host information sessions around the world where we really have a great opportunity to meet with prospective students, to answer your questions, and help prepare you for your first modules here at University of Roehampton Online.
Yeah, it must be quite a privilege to meet people around the world face-to-face.
It really is. It's such a privilege, online as well. I'm just having an opportunity to really hear what our students want to be able to do with their degree, how it can help them and also help their communities. And then it's really such a great feeling to be able to sit down and help make that difference. So we're very excited and very privileged to be able to do this.
Yeah, absolutely, Kristen. And for anybody who's interested in meeting one of our representatives face-to-face, then what I recommend you do is you go onto the website after the session, and we have an events section, and that will say when we will be in different parts of the world, and you can see if we're going to be in a country near you, and you can meet someone like Kristen or Kristen herself. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Kristen, let's get started. Can we start, actually I'm going to give the agenda first. Let's start with that, why don't we? So we're going to tell you a little bit about who we are as an institution, but also from the perspective of Roehampton, but as laureate as well. And then we're going to talk a little bit about online education and the types of programs that you can study online, as well as a bit about the tuition as well. Now, it's important to note that we'll be having a Q&A break, and I know a few of you are already very busy asking us questions, so continue asking any questions that you have, and then at the end we will put them to Kristen and have a great discussion. Okay, so now let's get started, Kristen. So can you tell us a little bit about Roehampton and its history of delivering education in the United Kingdom on campus?
Absolutely. For those that aren't familiar, as Pearl was saying, the University of Roehampton is a premier institution. It's actually based out of London. There's a beautiful campus in London. We have had students that are going through our campus-based program for over 170 years now. So the University of Roehampton has a very long history of providing that quality education and at a campus environment. And there are actually about 10,000 students who are currently completing their courses physically at our campus location.
Great, thanks, Kristen. And in terms of the accreditation, now the Roehampton campus programs are accredited by the QAA, but are also online programs included in this? Can you explain a bit about this?
Absolutely, and that accreditation, or really just speaking to that quality, it's very important no matter where you are in the world. Whether you're on campus or online, you always want to attend a program that is accredited, that does have that type of quality. So the QAA, as you were saying, the Quality Assurance Agency, they do evaluate and oversee the programs at the campus level, but also at the online level as well. So for those of us as students who are completing one of our programs online, you are being held to the exact same standards as those students on campus, and know that the QAA is essentially the agency that does evaluate and provide accreditation for all UK programs. So that's what allows the university to issue degrees, to be a degree issuing and granting institution. So you are receiving the highest type of accreditation that is really available in the United Kingdom.
Yeah, that's a good reassurance there, because that can often be a question that we get, especially from people considering an online program. So the University of Roehampton partnered with Laureate Online Education to offer these online programs. Can you tell us a little bit more about this partnership and what that partnership means?
Absolutely. And Laureate, for those of you who don't know, I'm sure you've seen it on the website when you've been reviewing the program, seen it floating around there somewhere. But Laureate Online Education is an organization that provides the platform for distance learning. So they work with and partner with a number of colleges and universities around the world to provide that support and to provide the platform. So they are experts in providing distance education. They've actually partnered with University of Roehampton 2 years ago, so back in 2012, to provide the online platform for Roehampton online students. So what this means is that as a student at the University of Roehampton Online, you're still going to be receiving the same type of education, the same quality programs that you would receive on campus. But the difference is that we're letting these experts in Laureate Education provide the support, ensure that you have the technology and the individuals to make sure that you have that seamless transition into online education. So you're really getting the best of the best from, of course, the academic standpoint with Roehampton, but also with Laureate and providing that support and lifting you up throughout your experiences.
Thank you, Kristen, and thank you for that introduction of Roehampton, Laureate, and also the accreditation. So now we want to actually talk about online learning. And now before we do so, I want to ask you, the listeners, what experience you have with online learning yourselves. So we're going to have a poll that will appear on the right-hand side in just a moment. There it is. Okay, so the whole question is, how much experience do you have with online learning? So do you have a lot of experience? Have you maybe taken quite a few classes, or even a full degree program, or maybe a master's already? Or do you have some experience, taking maybe one class, an online training with your work perhaps, or none at all? And then other like distance learning. So just take a little moment to think about that and answer the question, and then we'll get back to your answers in just a few minutes. So Kristen, can you start by telling us, how do you actually study online with Roehampton?
Well, I'm really excited to kind of share this with you, because when you're studying online with Roehampton, understand, one, our online programs and these programs that we've put online are specifically for working adults, professional individuals. So we've really been able to find 10 of the best programs that we offer here to do so in this online environment. They are all designed for you to be able to have your normal life, meaning that we allow you access to the module 24 hours a day. So there's never a set time that you actually need to log in to class. You're able to do it when it's convenient for you. And as we've seen just with this webinar, we have people attending this from all over the world. So we know that everyone's on a different time zone. You log in when that's going to be best for you. Now, in addition to that, I talked about Laureate support and the fact that they do have award-winning support services. So that means that you have individuals here, actual real people, that you can call, that you can email and work with if you have specific questions, whether that is how to actually access your module, or if you have questions in the environment and you want to receive support. We also have a fantastic portal, which is referred to as InspireNet, and this is the environment where you'll be able to access not only your modules and the classrooms themselves, but a lot of these different support services, as well as interacting with your classmates.
Okay, great. Thank you for that introduction there, Kristen. And in terms of the the assessments, how do you get assessed online?
Absolutely. So the way that the assessments actually work with Roehampton is really going to be pretty unique to some other type of distance learning or online programs out there. The majority of your work is going to be taking place throughout your modules, and they're actually going to be comprised of several 2-week units. So there'll be about several of these, at least 6 2-week units throughout your module. Now, in addition to that, you have a final project. And as you can see from the image on the screen, it's really going to be just a few types of assignments. You'll have assignments that you're completing on your own individually. You'll have assignments that you'll be completing, or activities that you'll be completing with your classmates, opportunities for you to share perspectives. And then again, the bulk of your evaluation comes from your final project. So the final project may be 80 to 90% of your grade. It's really, again, going to be the bulk of your module. However, you're going to be getting a lot of the understanding and the content from this final project from your individual assignments and your shared activities. So while those type of assignments are going to be a lesser percentage of your final grade in your module, you still want to be putting your all into them, because that knowledge you gain there is what's going to help set you up for your final project.
Okay, thanks, Kristen. And we have the results of the poll that we just put out, and it's really interesting because 55% of the respondents have no experience of online learning at all, and then 36% have some experience, have maybe taken one class, and no one has a lot of experience. So you're all, I think that's kind of should be reassurance that everyone part of this webinar is new to this. Do you agree, or do you think that puts people at a disadvantage if they have no experience?
No, I don't. I think that coming into this almost as a blank slate, so to speak, is a great advantage in this environment, because, with Roehampton in particular, it's a very different model than what you would experience at some other online or distance learning institutions. Here, again, the bulk of your grades is really going to be coming from that final project, whereas in other institutions, there are a lot of, the grading is spread apart evenly. There's a lot of different types of assignments. There are learning teams. These are not things that we have here. And so because of that, you don't have to relearn this structure. You're able to just understand InspireNet and understand Roehampton for what it is. And I think that allows you to really come into this environment more open. In addition to that, everything is kind of available in a self-paced learning environment, very on demand. So it allows you to really be free-flowing with your content and with your time frames. And again, I think being new to this process, you can just be really open to understanding how we do things here, because it's a little bit different, but I think we do it in a really fantastic way that best serves a working adult that's going back to school.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Kristen. And actually, a question that came in at the beginning and kind of ties into this, because for maybe someone who has never studied online before, someone else was asking, how do you actually prepare us to start? And if you've never done this before, are there systems in place to get people properly prepared for this?
There absolutely are. One item that's in place is called the Student Readiness Orientation. And this orientation is actually designed for brand new students to be able to complete this process. It takes you through InspireNet, which I keep mentioning, but it's so very important. It really is the bulk of your student portal. So it takes you through that environment, allows you to get comfortable understanding how do you access your classroom? How do you access support? So there's your student manager support. There is IT support. There's financial support. How do you use those and best utilize those opportunities and those support services? There's also a big element of networking with both your peers and with faculty members within InspireNet. And so the readiness orientation will allow you to utilize those different resources kind of in a very safe environment so that you can practice and understand those skills and that you're fully prepared for your first day of class. I also want to point out, Pearl, that we do have some free non-credit skill units. So for any students who get into the environment and realize that there's an element that they need a little more assistance with, you are welcome to take part of one of those free skill units. And this will also help to build up your skills in a non-for-credit, not really for content-wise, more for content-wise, not necessarily for a grade, just to help you get up to speed and be successful in the environment.
Yeah, I think that's very reassuring for people to know if this is new to them, and it sounds like then you're not thrown into the deep end at the end of the day, no, and also it's reassuring to know that you're not the only one where this is new. That this is a new experience. Okay, so if you want to click away that poll and go back to seeing the videos, then please do. You can just click the X and then bring down the videos, and you can see me and Kristen again. So let's carry on a little bit, because you talked about the online faculty there as a support, but I think it's also interesting to talk about how someone actually is taught in an online classroom, especially if someone's new to this.
So, our faculty when I keep saying that they are there to network with you and to support you, that's really the case. Our faculty members are coming in with an average of about 18 years of professional experience within their respective fields. So they are, practitioners in the area that you'll be learning, which is also a really big advantage because you want to be learning from individuals that not only have the academic credentials, but also have professional credentials in your field. You want them to understand the content, not just what is listed in a textbook. Now, understand they also still have academic credentials. On average, they have about 12 years of teaching. We also ensure that our faculty members have their master's degrees, and many of them have doctorates, have PhDs as well. So they're coming to you with the highest level of academic credentials as well as professional experience. Now, that being said, our faculty members are just like all of us that are students. They are coming from all over the world. We have a lot of them that are based out of the U.S. We have a lot that are, of course, out of the United Kingdom, out of Saudi Arabia. I mean, really kind of coming in with different perspectives in this environment. And when you are interacting with them in your classroom environment, you will also find opportunities where you can reach out to them in the InspireNet to network, to ask them what do they think as a professional about maybe the professional path that you would like to take after you earn your certificate, or even questions or concerns that you might have about branching out into different fields. So I encourage everyone to really utilize their faculty, not just for teaching purposes, but also to network and really gain from their experience.
Yeah, that's a very good tip there, Kristen, because as you say, these people are professionals as well, and they've had great careers and continue to have very great careers. So learning from their experience and how they can support you as well as academically, but also professionally too. So let's talk a little bit more about the classroom. So when you join the online classroom, you also join other people from all over the world and study with them. So can you tell us about the types of students that study online with Roehampton?
Absolutely. So Roehampton students are, we're just so very exciting when we go through this process. Our students are very, very diverse. Currently, we have about 800 students that are currently studying online, and our students are coming from over 100 different countries. So you can see on the screen there just a great example where some of our students are coming from, whether that's Jamaica, the UK, Ghana, Kenya, Canada, just all from everywhere. The other thing that's really exciting about our students is that they are typically people that are coming from middle management, senior management type fields. So these are people that are in their average, usually late 30s. These are people that have a great deal of professional experience. These are people that have met a lot of really great milestones within their career, and they're just able to use this credential that you'll be earning at Roehampton to take their careers to the next level. So I really encourage people to not only reach out to your faculty, use that peer-to-peer networking. Really reach out to your classmates, learn from them. If you have plans professionally and you're trying to figure out how you're going to get to the next level, ask your classmates. Reach out to other people in your program, because these people have, in many cases, met these milestones and are also looking to continue to advance. And sometimes that's the best resource, are your peers.
And that's also where InspireNet comes in, because it's really a community where you're able to not only connect with people inside the classroom, but maybe someone in your country where you're studying. So yeah, that connection is possible there. Okay, so moving along. In terms of the programs that we actually offer online, can you give us an overview of what people can study?
So we actually have put 10 of our programs online, as I mentioned. So 10 that were available on campus are now online. And these programs are completely done online. So there is no requirement for you to travel. Everything that you'll be doing as a student will be done in this online environment. The programs are in various different fields. So from the management arena, we have programs like, of course, a MBA program. We have our master's program in project management. We have a master's in information systems management, strategic human resource management, supply chain management. We also offer in the health arena a master's program in public health. We offer some programs in the social sciences and psychology field, and we also offer some education programs as well, like our Master of Arts in Teaching and Learning. We have a Master's in Education, Leadership, Inclusive Special Education. So there's a variety of different fields that you can study. And what's really fantastic is that the structure and the cost for these programs are all exactly the same. It doesn't matter whether you're doing education or management, the structure is really going to be the same for you. So it allows our students to choose the program that's best for them, professionally and personally, and not choosing a program based off of time or cost.
Yeah, that's a good point there, Kristen. And if someone's not sure which program they should study based on their career goals or what they're aiming for, what should they do?
So all of our students here will have access to one of our admissions counselors and enrollment counselors, and these people are the experts in your field of study. So if you are interested in a health program in public health and you want to talk to them about that program and how to apply and how to get started and if it's going to be right for you, the counselor that you'll speak with just works with public health and they can help you in that field. Same thing for psychology, same thing for management, etc. So you should all be expecting to hear from one of our enrollment counselors within the next couple of business days. They will reach out to you via phone and email, see if you have additional questions from the webinar, and also if you have additional questions on how to get started, if you're ready to begin the process. I know we have a start date coming up in November, I believe, so if you're interested in that, they can walk you through that process, or if you just have additional questions while you're narrowing down your choice, they can assist you with that as well.
Okay, thank you, Kristen. And in terms of someone's experience, so we often get questions about people's background and what they need and what the requirements are based on applying for the online program. So can you give us a bit of an overview of what someone needs?
Yeah. So there's actually a really exciting process here. The way that you can go about getting admitted to these programs, and I know, Pearl, this is kind of based upon that UK kind of qualifications for education. So there are basically 3 different admissions requirements. You can come in with a bachelor's from the higher division, and then that's kind of what you need. You can also come in with a bachelor's from the lower division, and then in addition to that, you'll need 2 to 3 years of work experience. Or you can come in without a bachelor's degree, but if you have 5 years work experience, this will allow you to be admitted under a conditional admit. And basically what that means is that you're able to be entered into the program, but we'll watch you a little closely during that first module. And after that first module has been successfully completed, we will remove the condition from your admittance status, and you will have a full admission into the university. So again, 3 different ways that you can be admitted. If you are not sure about whether or not you qualify for the full admission with a bachelor's from higher division or not, talk to your enrollment counselor, and they'll be able to let you know whether or not how you qualify into the program.
Yeah, and they'll request your CV and look at you on an individual level.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. And so you talked quite a bit about the enrollment consultant in terms of them being able to support the beginning, help you decide on the program you should study. But once you actually start the program, what happens then? Is there a support available for an online student?
Absolutely. The support is going to stay with you and you know, kind of let you know, it'll stay with you all the way through the end of your program. So it's, you know, you definitely are going to have support, real live human support. I always like to point that out. So of course it does start with your enrollment counselor, and they'll be there with you initially. As you get into the program, go through the admissions process, you will hear from our student support. They will be the individuals that will support you throughout your student studies. So for instance, while you are navigating InspireNet, we talked about the readiness orientation, getting comfortable with that environment, you'll actually have student support there to assist you if you have questions utilizing this platform and this portal. In addition to that, of course, you can always reach out to individuals like financial support, like IT. You can reach out to them via email. You can reach out to them over the phone or, of course, through InspireNet. In addition to that, that peer interaction, I mean, peer networking is huge in InspireNet. A lot of times, students will have a very general question, and they'll go to reach out to maybe student support or IT or something like that. And as they go to post a question, they'll notice that it's already been answered by a peer in InspireNet. So we always really recommend that our students spend some time using the peer interaction areas, because a lot of times students have already asked those questions, answered them. They may have tips for you to be successful. So this is an area, it's very much a shared community, and you want to really immerse yourself in that. Now, in addition, of course, I mentioned IT because we are an online program. We want to make sure you know there is IT support throughout your program. IT support typically responds back within 24 hours, sometimes much quicker than that. Just depends on your question and when it's asked. So again, we do have that technical support. We do also have a student finance team that will support you throughout your program if you have questions regarding payment of your modules and so forth.
Thank you, Kristen, for that overview there. And in terms of the tuition, so this is a common question, and quite rightly so. So can you give us an overview of what's the kind of payments someone should expect and what the tuition actually includes?
And you know, Pearl, can I tell you, this is my favorite part about this process, because payment and tuition is very important, obviously, to any program you're looking for, but I love the structure of our payment at Roehampton. So regardless of which program that you are going to be enrolling in, you have a set payment or a set tuition of $10,000 US. And that is the total cost for all of our online programs here. Okay, so it's absolutely fantastic, just a set $10,000 US. Now, the way that we divide it up, there are 9 payment plans of $1,111 US, and that will be over about a 29-month period. So this way, you're just basically paying for each one of your modules as you go through. Also, what's included in your tuition, your textbooks. We use ebooks for our programs, so that's included in the cost. Also, the online access, the library access, support services, that's all included as well. So you don't have any of those technology fees that you might find at other institutions. And again, you just want to make sure that you start paying in advance of your first module. Typically, an invoice will be received about 60 days before your module starts. And you just want to make sure that you pay that 7 days before the module starts so that you can begin your module. So it's very, very straightforward.
Great. Thank you, Kristen, and thank you for that. As you say, it's very clear, it's very easy and easy to understand, so thanks, Kristen, for talking us through that. So now we have a Q&A break, and the Q&A is very busy. You'll be very pleased to know, Kristen. We have some really brilliant questions coming in. Okay, let's start with the first one. What sets out your MBA program? What sets our MBA program apart? So I'm guessing from other institutions, other online programs.
Yeah, absolutely.
But great question. So what do you believe, from your perspective, sets the MBA apart?
You know, that is a really great question because, you know, an MBA can be found pretty much anywhere. Every school offers some type of a business program. What's really special about the Roehampton MBA program is that it is kind of a general management program. You know, with some MBA programs, they offer, you know, 11 or 12 different specializations, and there's so many different caveats to the program. Our MBA program is specifically that general MBA, learning about how to become a better manager, how to become more well-rounded within your field. It's really about practical skills, how to think analytically, how to be able to put that in place in your respective field. So it doesn't spend so much time going out into all of the different elements that some programs, you know, maybe do, focusing on all these little caveats. Really allows you to focus on that traditional MBA as it originally was. So that's one of the things I really love about our MBA program, is it kind of gets back to the basics of what an MBA originally was. In addition to that, from a structure standpoint, I love the fact that this MBA program is just very straightforward, 29 months, as many of our programs are. You know, you're talking, what, 2.5 years from start to finish of this program. And again, having that flexibility with really just focusing on the final project, really allowing yourself to work at your own pace throughout your module, I think is a really great benefit. It doesn't have all of the group work that you find in some of the other MBA programs out there.
Thank you, Kristen. And yeah, I hope that answers the person's question. Good question there. So someone was asking about how many physical campuses that we had, because they were a little bit confused because we mentioned at the beginning that we were live from Amsterdam, joining from our HQ in Amsterdam, and where the London part comes in, and I can understand the confusion completely. So maybe you want to explain a little bit about Laureate and Roehampton, and give that understanding of why we're in Amsterdam and where our campus is.
Why am I here? And absolutely.
We're a very global organization, eh?
We are a very global organization, and you know, as my role as a university representative, I do travel quite a bit, and it's one of those questions I get on a plane a lot. People go, well, wait, where are you? And I just take a deep breath, and I get to answer. So we are a part, of course, of the University of Roehampton online, but also Laureate online education. So I've actually been working with Laureate online education for 9 years as a representative. I've worked with different institutions within partners within the Laureate network, and of course now working with the University of Roehampton online. I know Pearl has worked in different departments and different fields, always with this web environment. But we are very much a global organization. So of course we have a headquarters in Amsterdam, an actual building where we have individuals reporting to in Amsterdam that do things like our web production. They do things you know, with financing for some of the partners that we have out there, things of that nature. We also have Laureate's, I guess, official headquarters is out of the U.S., in Baltimore, Maryland, and so we'll have offices and even sometimes advisors out of that location as well. And then in addition to that, individuals like myself, representatives, there are a handful of us, and we actually work from our home location since we travel so very much. Now, also, the campuses themselves, the schools themselves, like the University of Roehampton online, that school, this in particular location, is based out of London. So the campus is on London, and it is just one campus for the University of Roehampton. But of course, the online elements that support those services, as I mentioned, are handled by Laureate. Therefore, you will find a lot of individuals that are supporting you may be located in Amsterdam. They may be located in the U.S. They may be located wherever it might be, just at another one of our Laureate physical locations. So we are very much a global university. There are no walls here. We are everywhere.
Well, like our students are everywhere.
Our students are everywhere. Our faculty are everywhere, and our support services are everywhere as well.
Yeah. And maybe it's worth noting here about the fact that, you know, if they graduate and when they graduate, hopefully, then that
they will.
Yeah, absolutely. That they also can go to the campus and graduate with campus students, right?
That's absolutely the case. You can, when you graduate, so very positive, when you graduate, you will have the opportunity, and I hope you all choose to do so, to go to London and walk across that stage with the campus students. So you won't have to go to Amsterdam or the U.S. You'll be going to London, you'll be going to the campus, and it's just a really great opportunity to see it in person. It's a beautiful campus. So if you have an opportunity and you're able to go, I encourage everyone to do so. If you can't, of course, we will still provide you with your certificate and with your transcripts, and all of that will just be mailed to you. But hopefully you can travel and go.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the most the best bit. You know, you should be really proud of your accomplishment when you finish, and to take that opportunity to go to London, great city as well, and then and go to the campus, as you say, it's a beautiful one. Okay, so there's some more questions coming in, and actually quite a few questions around the length of time for the study, but also how long the modules are. So we had quite a few questions around that area, so maybe you can give us a bit of an understanding about that.
Sure, and again, all of the programs are going to follow the same model. So this is for all of our programs, regardless of what you're interested in. The programs themselves will have you completing 7 modules plus your research project or your final project. The modules themselves are 12 weeks in length. So you have 7 modules, each one is going to be 12 weeks. Now, in addition to that, your research project is going to be about 28 weeks. So it's going to be a little more than the length of 2 modules to complete. So in the end, you should finish your program in about 29 months or a little less than 2.5 years. And again, that's for all of the programs here. They all have the same number of credits. They all follow the same structure for modules and week length.
Okay, and also a few people were also asking, are they able to make the course quicker, so complete in a quicker time?
That's a great question. You definitely talk to your enrollment advisors about, how you want to be able, if you'd like to go faster. The modules themselves are set for 12 weeks, so that means, typically you're not going to be able to get through a 12-week module in 4 weeks. You have to kind of follow that 12-week structure. But there are some students that want to be able to accelerate their program a bit, and sometimes that can be done in, by taking maybe 2 modules at a time or something like that. But that's really evaluated on an individual case-by-case basis. So talk to your enrollment advisor about, and your enrollment counselor about why and how you plan to do that, and they can let you know if that's something that would be available to you.
Okay, and the next question is an interesting one. Is my understanding of the master's program is that there are not qualifications but only enhancements on your degree. Is this correct, or does Roehampton's master's help qualify you in your career choice? So, interesting question. I don't know if you need a little bit more clarification on that question, or
well, yeah, I can. If I give kind of a general answer, and then if we need more, we can.
And I think the person who asked this question might be looking at education.
Okay, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Which makes sense. So,
yeah.
Yes. So, yeah.
That's kind of what I was leading towards. So.
Yeah.
So, yeah, in most instances, so, we're talking with something like an MBA or public health or human resource management or something like that. These are full master's degrees, and they are full qualifications. We do offer in education, that full Master of Arts in teaching and Master's in Education Leadership. So in many instances, yes, the programs issued at Roehampton are full qualifications. That being said, in the field of education, and it is very different everywhere, it's very different here in the U.S., one country, but every different state has their own rules. It's like that everywhere. So in different countries, different parts of the country have different rules and regulations when it comes to education. So in some locations, our education programs at Roehampton will be allowing the student to kind of add a segment to the degree that they already have, or to the qualification that they already have, but it doesn't give them what is needed to move up to the next level. In other places, the credential that's earned at Roehampton will allow you to move up to the next level in your field. And it can be a little bit confusing because, again, every single part of the world, every single part of a country kind of has different regulations and different rules as pertaining to education. The best thing that I would advise you to do, of course, as always, you want to check with your local overseeing body that deals with education to determine if Roehampton's master's program will allow you to meet whatever professional qualification that you're going for. We always want to do that just to get that final okay. Again, we are accredited by the QAA, and we do have that overseeing and having the highest that a UK institution can have. So that should put you in the best position possible, but you still want to receive that okay locally. In addition, if you're not at that part of the process yet, if you're still in the very initial stages of evaluating programs, talk to your enrollment counselor, because they deal with not only certain programs, but they have a better understanding of what the qualifications are in different parts of the world that they work with. They might be able to give you a heads up as to whether or not our program will get you the type of qualification that you're looking for.
Yeah, thank you, Kristen, and thank you for explaining that. And now I'm going to take one last question. We've had so many great questions, Kristen, but I'm just going to take one last one. Yeah, it's brilliant. It's been a really good discussion. So the final question I'm going to take is, can you explain more about the program's individual and group activities? So that's an interesting one, because actually some people really fear group activities as well.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
especially in an online environment, right? So how does that work?
We've done, most of us that have gone through a more traditional type learning, you've completed a group activity in person and you think, oh, how could I do this online, right? Well, I've been there, I've done it in person and online, and I can tell you, when we're talking about more of a shared activity in this environment, it's not a group project where we all sit around the table or we all sit around the computer at the same time and we work on this project or something together. The way that it works in our online environment is that you almost are using kind of a message board format where you have a particular assignment or a particular question that has been asked of you by your faculty member or posed to you by your faculty member, and then everyone is kind of, you may make your original response to that. Another classmate, maybe 10 hours later, a different part of the world, may read that and then provide their own well-researched response, and then maybe Pearl jumps in and she provides her well-researched response. So we are all providing our comments to this particular question. We're all having this discussion, but it's taking place on our own time, and of course it's taking place through words, through text, as opposed through video or through a phone chat. So it's really, it's kind of, again, like a message board. It's where one person kind of starts the conversation. Everybody is providing their responses with research and references. It's very academic. It's very well thought out. But it allows you to be able to get perspectives and learn from other people's ideas and their experiences. It's all about reflection based off of the topics that have been introduced to you within your module. So it's not everyone sitting around the table working on one poster, working on one paper. It's more about responding, bringing your own experiences in, and of course making sure that you provide the research to back up your opinions.
Thank you, Kristen. And I'm guessing also it means that, no one can sit in the background and do nothing.
No, there is no sitting in the back of the classroom. That's really good to bring out because, in some environments, it's very easy to sit in a physical room, to sit in the back and just kind of take it all in. You have to be engaged here. But I think you'll want to be engaged because you have all the tools at your fingertips. So you can't give a wrong answer. You just take the time, do the research, and you're able to put that best foot forward every single time. And I think you'll really enjoy it.
Great, Kristen, thank you, and thank you for answering all those questions. I hope those who did get their questions asked live, that you have the answers that are helpful to you. If we didn't ask your question live, then please speak to your enrollment consultant. They really are there, and they really are, as Kristen said, experts in their program, and are really there to support you in this decision-making process. So take advantage of that and talk with them. Okay, so your checklist to get started. If you want to go forward, and as Kristen said, there is a November start date, so if you're keen to get started, if you're excited, then make sure you've sent your EA, your CV, academic certificates, and proof of identification. Send that to them, discuss your options with your enrollment advisor, and then they will help you decide on your start date and program of interest. Once that's done, the application process will start. So you'll be asked to write an ambition statement. And this actually will really help you to think about why you're doing this. What are your goals? What are you hoping to achieve? Where are you hoping to go with this program? Submit that ambition statement and then complete the online application form. And then it's preparation time. So you'll be asked to sign the student readiness agreement and make that first payment, as Kristen already mentioned, and then you'll join the InspireNet community where you'll be able to meet all your fellow online students. So it's an easy process, and your consultant is there to help the whole process and hold your hand as you go through this. It's worth noting that if you are planning to start, then in November you are able to, if you enroll before October the 17th, if you enroll before October the 17th, you can save $500 on your first module. So that is for the November 13th start date. If you are keen to take advantage of that opportunity, speak to your enrollment consultant as soon as possible, and they can help you be prepared to start on November the 13th. That's also worth noting that we have a really amazing referrals program, and this is really available to those of you who maybe want to study alongside someone else, or once you get started and you're enjoying the experience and you want to share that with someone else, then let us know, and we can support them as well, get started in their online program, and there are great benefits available for you if you choose to do that. So find out from your own consultant. They can give you more details about that. Okay, so if you also want to join our social media communities, we are on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, so go and say hello to us in those communities. And, we have students who are sometimes on LinkedIn who are able to tell you about their experience, so do take advantage of that. And it just leaves me to thank Kristen. Thank you so much for this great session. I hope everyone enjoyed it. It sounds like, I did, and I know you did too.
Thank you for having me again, and I just want to wish everyone the best of luck on their studies.